What is up, McManus MMA fam? I am here today to talk about the MVP Rousey versus Carano full fight card, and more so as a rant on this whole viewing experience of this card, because I was not enjoying my time with this. I couldn't take this seriously at all. I couldn't take this seriously at all. This to me felt like amateur hour and the casual's guide to MMA. Yes, obviously we won't see the highest level fights here compared to the UFC, where that's the highest level competition you can get in MMA. This, it felt like, here's some guys you know, here's somebody you know, and here's some guys that are washed versus, some young up and comer guys who from PFL and Bellator and all this stuff. And I like that idea. I like the idea of having another organization that can kind of vulture its way and pick these guys from Bellator and PFL and what other organizations, Eternal and LFA and all this other stuff. Like, kind of do that, but still not be in the UFC. Just the guys who weren't good enough to get there, but are here. So I want to start kind of just talk fight to fight and my basic thoughts on everything. First and foremost, this main event was such a waste of time. If anybody thought that this was going to be anything different, you're an idiot. Gina Carano hadn't fought since the Obama administration. So if you thought that she was going to go out there, dude, no, Gina Carano is going to get out there and put a hurting on Ronda Rousey, bro. Listen, I wanted nothing more to see Ronda Rousey's face get beaten to a pulp. Nobody likes Ronda Rousey. She's arrogant.
Chasing greatness? No, we are greatness. This is the biggest MMA fight of all time.
I don't think so. Looking in the stands of the Intuit Dome, it looked like there were 30 total people there. It didn't look like there were anybody in any of the seats. The whole dome was basically empty. They wouldn't even show the upper level seats because nobody was there. It was empty. Um, Completely empty. Most people were there for Diaz and Ngannou. Nobody, except for the celebrities that Jake Paul paid to be there, the Saudi princes and the football players and stuff like that, were there and going, dude, this fight's going to be awesome. This fight's going to be sick. And she literally shoots a takedown, gets in the mount, and armbars her in 17 seconds. So, Gina Carano, congrats. The Daily Wire did not train you to, I don't know, stuff a single takedown. But, and then of course Ronda Rousey was crying after and retires from MMA. Thank God. I never want to see her around any promotions ever again. I don't want to hear her on a mic ever again. She drives me insane. Her ego is out of control. But yeah, that was terrible. What a waste of time. And I would also like to say that it felt like there was 40 minutes in between these top three fights right here. We would watch 7 different videos on each person being like, this is the fight they've been looking for. This is her when she was 7 years old with her dad. It's like, well, I don't care. I do not care. Play the damn fights, man. I do not care. Um, it was driving me insane. Moving on, Mike Perry, Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz looks terrible. I think he threw like 30 strikes. Got a good inside trip, but then just did not do anything with it. Mike Perry just boxed the head off him, sliced him open, and he was spraying blood like, I don't know. I was trying to think of an inappropriate comparison, but I couldn't think of one. He was spraying blood everywhere. He was cut open. It literally looked like they just done surgery on a grape on his head. They just did surgery on a grape. And they doctor stopped it. Good to the corner man that said, we're not doing this. And then for Mike Perry to call out Jake Paul to an MMA fight, and Jake Paul is like, dude, let's do it. I just can't take this seriously. This is a joke to me. Another thing that I will say that really irked me was the commentary. They had a boxing commentator. I'm sorry, I don't know the guy's name, but the main commentary guy was like a boxing commentator, dude. So every time, every single time, um, somebody would throw one strike, and he's going back with 5 strikes. Oh my, he is coming back with a fury. It was like, not all of this has to be a spectacle, man. Yes, I'd rather them actually watching the fights and commentating what's happening than DC and Joe Rogan, the Terror Twins, who are sitting there picking each other's noses, going, I had dinner today. I had dinner today, and I had trouble. My knees hurt today. I'm just, watch the damn fights. I'd rather have them, watching the damn fights, but sometimes it was too much. Like especially in some of the female fights on the undercard, where a chick would land like 3 taps, and then you go, and she's returning with 3 heavy jabs of her own, and she's going in. It's like, no, nothing's happening. This is DC and Rogan during the Waldo fight, where they were like, oh, stop the fight, man, stop the fight. It was that the whole time, which was driving me insane. But it also felt like Diaz wasn't taking this seriously, and honestly, good on him for being a badass, holding onto the cage to get these little baby sissy kicks. Honestly, good on friend of the channel Nate Diaz, bro. Huge ups to Nate Diaz. Just smoking and showing up 20 minutes before he has to fight and just doesn't give a shit. That's badass. That's classic Nate Diaz. So I'm giving a plus for Nate Diaz. Felipe Lins versus Francis Ngannou. I don't know if the kid was on drugs or what, but they fed him Francis Ngannou, and honestly, not a good look for Francis Ngannou because he was getting tapped up a little bit. But sleeps Felipe Lins in the first round. Surprise, surprise. Surprised absolutely nobody. And you have Ariel Helwani as like the in hexagon commentator. Like, really?
Well, how was that? That was a really good fight, guys. Wow. Now, I would like to ask you guys one quick question. Do you guys like Jake Paul? Do you like money?
That's what I had to listen to every single time that we cut from a fight. We would go to the desk for 30 minutes and listen to Helwani talk with Tyron Woodley. Tyron Woodley got his ass beat so bad by Jake Paul, they demoted him to commentator upstairs. That's sad, man. Saladin versus Kenny Cross, bro. Give it up, guys. Homeless dude. Give it up for the homeless dude. Yeah, this was whatever, man. I mean, it was a beatdown. Kenny Cross got his ass beat. Wasn't surprised by that. But all of these felt like mismatches. This one, we were like, okay, Ronda Rousey's going to win. Mike Perry's going to win. Francis Ngannou's going to win. This kid's going to win. Rodelis Spain's going to win. It's like, yeah, all these are mismatches, which sucks. And the Robelis de Spain versus Junior Dos Santos, this was disrespectful to the sport, honestly. JDS needs to retire. If he's asking for a fight and stuff like that, give him somebody his own age, bro. Yeah, give him this heavyweight dude who's just an absolute killer. And JDS is 45 years old or whatever. He gets out there and gets killed. He got slept out cold. Poor guy, bro. Actually, poor guy. I felt so bad for JDS. He looked like Mr. Nebercracker from Monster House. This was not it just felt disrespectful. Like, really? This is what we're gonna do? And not to say that these fights were bad. I didn't think a lot of these fights were bad. I thought a lot of these fights were actually pretty good. Like going down here, I thought this Moraes and Nakuda fight was really good, which we got to talk about that. But let's talk about this one first. Fossil won. I knew he was gonna win. He won. Like, I don't know what to say. Submitted the dude in round 2. I mean, these guys were scrapping. It's like, yeah, they're fighting hard, but we knew it was gonna happen. This was the only one that I was like, wow, this was actually really good because Nakuda won this fight. He won this fight. He won all 3 rounds. Got dropped Moraes. Looked great, and then gets dropped in the last 3 seconds, and Moraes locks up a rear naked choke. The bell goes off, and they let him hold it for like an extra 3 seconds. And then he lets go, and he's unconscious, and they're like, he submitted him. And they had that picture of Young Thug in the studio, like pointing and teaching, you know what I'm talking about? It was like that. It was Mike Beltran, Herb Dean, all of these guys are on the computer. They're like, yeah, he held it past the buzzer, but he's unconscious. It's like, that's total bullshit. That's total bullshit. So they're like, Moraes wins by submission technical. It's like, that's total bullshit, bro. That's total bullshit. I feel bad for the guy. And his team was repping some One Piece merch. His coach or something had a Trafalgar D. Water Law a shirt on. That was badass. So huge ups to this dude. Jason Jackson absolutely slept this kid out cold immediately. Again, like, huge favorite. Unanimous decision. Huge favorite. It's like, again, did we think this fight, to me, this was the most disrespectful thing I'd seen. So many of these were split decisions. It's like, I didn't think that these were split decisions. The Aline Pereira versus Jade Mason Wong, who's a retired, corn star or whatever you want to say for YouTube's sake. Both these chicks, Pereira just trying too hard to fight like Alex. Like, she's trying to stomp forward, and it genuinely looked like when she got taken down, it looked like she is trying to speak a different language in the country of origin. Like she didn't know what she was doing at all. So I don't know if she was just training her left hand, which she didn't throw like at all. And this was the one where the commentary was genuinely like, "And here she comes. Masan Wong is in 3 jabs. Oh my goodness!" It was like she landed one strike. It was terrible. Split decision. I don't agree with at all. Aline Pereira won the fight fair and square, and she did. But split decision is ridiculous. And split decision down here, Chris Avila looked terrible. 8-10 in your professional record is terrible. He looked horrible, and neither did Brandon Jenkins. Didn't look good either, but still. Um, I like the idea of a card like this where we kind of get these, fighters who haven't fought in a while or other guys on a card, but to me, this wasn't it, man. I thought the production, it was cool. It was cool, but too long in between. The pacing of this event was, in the beginning, was great. These guys would walk out of the cage, and these guys would walk in. But once we got here, it legitimately was like 30 minutes. I don't know if they were waiting for the UFC to be over, um, and then also in the Intuit Dome, there was nobody there. There's no audience, nobody except for the celebrities that were paid to be there. James Cameron was there. I'm sure he was just eating his boogers or something, man. I don't know. I don't know. But this, to me, this was kind of a grand time waster. Um, Not to put down all the hard work that went into it, but genuinely, it felt just sub. It felt sub, not subpar, just sub. These mismatches um, throughout the entire card, everybody was like, "Yeah, that guy's gonna win. Yeah, Ronda Rousey's gonna submit Gina Carano." I was gonna make a prediction video about this, but legitimately, I was like, I'm just going to be saying, this guy's gonna win by this way. This guy's gonna win. This guy's gonna win. How do I know? I don't know anything about this dude, but he's a minus 10,000 favorite. So I'm not gonna be a moron and pick the other guy. Even though I don't look at the betting odds all that much, they're all over for this one. It was all of that was just betting odds. Also, just having Jake Paul in like a red little seat. Obviously Dana White's bald head is like King Neptune's in SpongeBob where it shines everywhere you can see it. But Jake Paul in like a red area, having John Jones as well. See, that excites me. If you want to do something on Netflix like that, do Francis Ngannou John Jones. Like that would excite me. Do something like that. These matchups that we never got to see happen in the UFC, make them happen. A lot of these guys have to retire. JDS, I'm sorry, bro, you got to retire. Nate Diaz, come back to LA and come hang out with me again. That was so much fun. Carano and Rousey are both done, so I know MMA Guru is stomping his feet. He wanted Gina Carano to win because of how beautiful she is, but
Chasing greatness, we are greatness.
so honestly, I don't I know I'm hating, but it wasn't that bad. It was cool. It was different, but it was too much too quick. Too much too quick. Trying to sell out the Intuit Dome for your first event is silly. Should have done a smaller venue, just so you can have a packed arena. Damn near do the do the fucking Apex, man. That's what this Aiden Ross thing is going to be this next weekend. They're doing an MMA fight of legitimately circus freaks in the Apex. It's a circus freak fight night in the Apex. Do this somewhere smaller, build it up, and then you could do the Intuit Dome. So there's just a lot of things that just kind of disappointed me. Hawani, obviously, he's getting a lot of hate, and I'm all for it. Um, all this stuff that goes into it, that the Hawani hate, the commentary, the pacing, the, skill difference of the fights, and the matchmaking. It's not great, but it has potential. Like, this could be good. If the next card is Ngannou Jones, bro, I'm all for that. I'm all for that. I will watch the shit out of that. Nobody was there to watch Gina Carano versus Ronda Rousey. We were there to see Nate Diaz, Mike Perry, Francis Ngannou, Felipe Lins. That's what everybody was here for. 100%. But then we waited 25 minutes for Gina Carano to walk out and go. She was wearing like a kiltic skirt and got taken down instantly, and then the fight was over. And I went, okay, that's it. And we were done. So, but that's all I got to complain about today. I'm sure I got something to complain about tomorrow, but with the UFC, there's always something to complain about. With MMA, there's always something to complain about. But I'm interested to see what they'll do moving forward with MVP, most valuable promotion. But not most profitable. So that's about it. See ya. Bye.